You're pushing a paperback of a book from 2 years ago, right? The Starry Nights.
Yeah, that's Starry Messenger.
Sorry.
Yeah, Starry Messenger.
That's not how we
it just came out in paperback a couple of.
I did make a mistake, yes, but I corrected myself. Starry Nights is how I like to spend my time.
It's okay to make a mistake if you realize you made a mistake and then corrected it. That cancels it out, and we're fine.
Thank you, which I did.
You don't have to get on his case about it.
You dedicated.
I'm just saying it wasn't.
You dedicated the book to your dad, which I thought was interesting.
I did, yeah.
And you said he sees, and to people like him who see the world as it could be, as opposed to how it is. I'm paraphrasing it.
Yeah, no, that was perfectly. That was like you quoted.
Was it? Was he like an optimist, or was he?
That's very. Thanks for that question. He studied sociology in college, and he ultimately worked for Mayor Lindsay in New York City during the civil rights era of the 1960s. And I would just see him go to work every day, and it was frustrating because there was a lot of challenge. I mean, 1960s, come on now.
Yeah.
Assassinations and the Vietnam War and riots, urban riots. And there he was, always with some glimmer of hope. And the most important fact here is all the crap my parents went through growing up in the 40s and 50s, raising us in the 60s and 70s, because that's how old I am. They were never bitter. We would look on the TV and you'd see dogs attacking, children and marchers trying to just get civil rights going. And his response was, these people don't know any better. Not let's hate them, let's kill them back. It was a very different approach, and it was let's talk to them and understand where they're coming from, so that we can bring them to a new place. And so that was so hopeful, and I didn't realize it was hopeful. There was just Dad, right? It was just the way he saw the world. So why wouldn't I see the world the same way? So when I see people, express vicious, vitriol. I say to myself, no, let me not cancel them. Let me approach them and have a conversation. And that's so the book is inspired by that. I mean, I'm applying the methods and tools of science to how people, to the things people think and the things they assume. And in science, you don't assume anything. You make the measurement. You test it before you arrive at a conclusion. And most people today don't test any of their ideas. Right. They believe what they want to believe, what feels good, what resonates with their culture, their religion, their politics, and they're not even looking beyond this. And that's tragic for the world, for the future of civilization.
Yeah.
Does it bother you? I mean, I feel especially since the pandemic, that's the way people are with science. There are different sciences that, depending on where you line up, this is the science, and if you believe that science, that means you believe that set of ideals, and I believe this science, so I believe this set of ideals. Does it bother you, number one, that that's the case, but also that there are a lot of people now that you went from being this sort of just scientist that was there to explain these wonders of the world to somebody who has political viewpoints, I think, ascribed to them?
Yeah, they're not. Well, so what people ascribe to me is whatever they will. I mean, plus social media is a cesspool in this regard. The book actually expresses no opinions whatsoever. That's the art of what I did in writing that book. It's cosmic perspectives on civilization. And it's, you think and feel this way, you are missing this other bit of information that could influence your thoughts or opinions or ideas. And where's that? So can I give I can give an example. No, I'll give an example of something I once posted, and people thought I was expressing an opinion, yet it was opinion neutral. Okay, after one of the horrific school shootings, I posted, it's sad that that's even a sentence, right? Oh, just one of the, pick the one that I happen to comment on. And I tweeted, back when it was Twitter, I tweeted, at Walmart, the nation's largest gun seller, you can buy an automatic rifle, but company policies ban their sale of pop music with curse words. And that's all it was. Okay, there's actually no opinion in that. It's a contrast of two things that they do.
Yeah, facts.
Two facts. And what happened was people divided in their reaction to it. Some said, it's our constitutional right to carry guns. Why? How dare you say they shouldn't carry? I didn't say they shouldn't carry guns. Yep. Okay. Then other people went to the First Amendment instead of the Second Amendment. Said it's free speech. Yeah, but that's only on the outside. If they're private, their company, they can put whatever speech rule they want. And it was like people started fighting over just objectively true information. And all I was doing was contrasting the two. And no one received it as, well, that's interesting. If we think curse words are going to harm you and that matters to you, then why are you selling guns? If you have no trouble selling guns, then why the hell do you care about curse words?
Right.
Right? So it's neutral, but should start a conversation, and it didn't. It started arguments. And so the book finds arguments like this, the stuff we all fight about over Thanksgiving dinner when your crazy uncle and aunt come over, and it takes those topics and explores what they look like when you're scientifically trained.
You know, one thing you and I have in common, I think, I am also a big fan of the Boötes void. I think it's...
I didn't know that, by the way. We've done a show together for years. I didn't know.
Okay. Let me catch people up on the meaning of that phrase. There is a constellation in the sky called Boötes. It's got two O's in a row. Yeah. So there's an umlaut maybe over the second O. And what we found, my people, my colleagues, decades ago now, it's well known, that there's a region of the universe beyond these stars that comprise that constellation. Constellations are very local things, like right in front of our nose, in our own galaxy. You go beyond our galaxy, beyond those stars that make up the constellation Boötes, and there's an absence of galaxies in that zone. It's a paucity. I don't want to say an absence. And the paucity, you like that word?
What's that mean?
That's an SAT word.
I know what it means, Sam.
I'm confused. I'm a little confused.
For Sam's benefit.
Yeah. I'll save him the humiliation of going, I've never heard that word.
I'm a little confused.
Paucity. Fewer than you might expect. So it became known as the Boötes void. And I haven't heard anybody talk about that in decades. So would that come up in you?
Well, I'm a big fan of the big void. 330.
You like voids.
I do, yes. I'm just wondering why it's 330 million light years or so wide, and why is there nothing there?
Well, there isn't nothing.
There's something. 60 galaxies.
It's just so if you look at the universe is spotty. It's not evenly distributed with galaxies. There's extra galaxies over on the left and a little fewer on the right.
Oh, okay.
Because gravity has a tendency to not spread things evenly. You know, if you have slightly more gravity at the beginning, you'll have even more later on. And the big boys win, and if you were small, you get smashed into the other. Well, when you're forming planets and stars and things, the big objects tend to win that contest.
As an astrophysicist, Mike, do you because you're talking? This book feels more social.
Yes, entirely. No, it's my gosh. I'm thinking about the universe with all this power of analysis and interpretation and understanding. And let me apply some of that to topics on Earth that people have not resolved. So I'll give another example. There's a whole chapter called Risk and Reward. All right?
I think of that every time I hold a condom.
That's good.
So you get it.
Yeah.
Was the condom used or not used? That's
Never used.
I'm gonna guess not.
The risk you will take, the risk you don't. So think about this. Here's just an interesting thing that all right. Whose phone is that? Is that my phone? Somebody's phone? The phone is ringing.
Probably Troy's.
Oh my gosh, that's my.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
It's
my bad.
Okay. No, that's fine if it's yours. If it was hot dogs, it would have been really funny.
My bad. Totally my bad. So do you realize that the branches of mathematics that include geometry, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, all of those were completely invented before it occurred to anybody to take an average of numbers and realize that could be helpful or useful. What we realize looking over the history of math and human behavior is that we have no native wiring to understand probability and statistics. There's nothing that, as far as I've been able to deduce. So that's why you get people who you visit some faraway city, Europe, wherever, and you see an old school chum. And you say, oh my gosh, small world. Now, why did you say that? Oh, because you think this was some statistics operating in your favor, and that you have special luck. No. What you didn't do was go up to everybody else and say, do I know you? And say, no. Large world.
Right.
Try that exercise. And by the 5 millionth person that you do that with, you will stop ever saying small world when you meet the person that you know. If you just run the statistics, which no one has any foundational understanding of, you realize that a lot of what we think is special happening to you is just not. And entire sorry. So
That's a real bummer.
There's an entire industry created to exploit this, and they're called casinos.
Yes.
You had a roulette table, and I see somebody betting on 7, and they'd say, "Why do you keep betting on 7? It's due." I said, why do you say that? Oh, well, look, they have the previous rolls, and they had 7. It's due. Yeah. I say, it's not due. It's the same probability every roll.
Every single time.
Yeah. One roll doesn't remember the other rolls and say, oh, we haven't given you a 7 lately. Let's put one up now.
Well, you can't meet obsession with rational thought.
Like, that's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. A fast story. Back in 2008, I published one of my books. I think it was on Pluto, my Pluto book back then. And get over it.
When it was still a planet.
No, it was down for the count by then. It was called The Pluto Files: The Rise and Fall of America's.
The Pluto Files?
That's what it was called.
That's funny. It is the smallest, too.
The Pluto Files.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I was visiting Las Vegas to film something for PBS on the human brain and how it can be tricked. We were going to interview some of the famous magicians that were there, including Penn and Teller, right? Because they owe their profession to tricking your brain. Yep. All right, so we're going to interview them on this. Anyhow, so I get to the McCarran Airport, and I go back then Borders Books was real and alive, and they had it was a larger bookstore than what was typical. And so I'm in there, and I do the vain thing that you do as an author. You see if they have your book, right? So I look around, and I don't see the book. And I say, oh, excuse me, do you have a science section? And they said, no, we don't have a science section. And in that moment, I thought to myself, wouldn't want any rational thinking to go on before you gamble. So why sell science books in Vegas at all?
Right.
Because this would interfere with their profit. And so that became my very first tweet back in 2008, 2009. That was my first tweet that actually was had educational, thoughtful value, and it set the standard for tweets that I would ever post since then. Yeah. Point is, that's an entire industry to exploit a brain wiring that we do not have.
Right.
And in my field, we take probability and statistics. Almost every year that we are in school, there's some new aspect of it that we learn. You can't just take one semester and say, "Oh, I'm done." No. It's way more subtle than that.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of how the science can apply to your social condition.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I guess that's the same thing. I still can't wrap my head around it. They say that when you buy multiple lottery tickets, your chances do not increase exponentially.
No, not exponentially.
They do.
No, they definitely increase your chance of winning. So if you buy 2 lottery tickets, your chances are twice as high as if you buy 1 lottery ticket. Okay,
right.
So that feels real good, but ask yourself, what was the probability of the first ticket winning? If it's 1 in 100 million, so now your chances are 2 in 100 million. Okay, so your tombstone will much more likely say struck and killed by lightning than won the Powerball lottery.
Right.
First of all,
but you're not thinking that way. You're not thinking that way. You're not saying, "Gee, I'll probably get struck by lightning." But you're betting against something. You're betting on something way less likely than that, expecting it to happen.
Are there any miracles that you believe in? Do you look at anything and go, "What a miracle! What an amazing thing"?
Besides the fact our show is still on.
Yeah, what's the probability of that?
Yeah. Before I make fun of that, congratulations. No. So it's a matter of point of view. If you see something you don't understand, do you say, "Whoa, that's a miracle," or "God is talking to you," or do you say, "I don't understand it"?
Oh.
That's the difference.
But I mean, that feeling, though,
No,
that
that's it.
spark,
Wait,
there's not...
excuse me. It ain't about
I'm
feeling.
sorry.
It's about data, okay?
right.
It's about information. It's about data.
Not
right?
everything.
So
Not
you-
everything.
if you
Some things
see-
are about feeling.
You see a light in the sky and you don't know what it is.
Right.
To you, it's a UFO because that's what the U stands for. Unidentified by you. Other lights I can see in the sky, and I have deep knowledge of the stuff that can happen in the night sky, in the day sky, in the twilight sky, where the planets are. And I'll say, oh, that's Venus in the twilight skies. Okay? So, no, it's not a miracle to me. It's not a UFO. It's an IFO, an identified flying object. Do you know in 1991, there was a total solar eclipse, and the path went right over downtown Mexico City. 10 million people didn't have to budge to view this eclipse. When the sun disappeared in the middle of the day, the night sky shows up, okay?
Right.
You see the night sky that you wouldn't have seen otherwise except 6 months later when the sun isn't there. Anyhow, Venus is in full view. People say, oh, a UFO. And it's like, okay, because you don't know what you're looking at. To people who know it's an IFO, it's the planet Venus, shining brightly where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be there.
Well, and what I was mentioning before about this being more of a social book, like I have a James Webb Space Telescope question.
Sure.
And is it frustrating because you have such a great brain, and is it frustrating that you are able to do all these brilliant things and see all these scientific things and comprehend them in a way that most people never would, no matter how much we're taught? And yet people only want to ask you about that. Like,
No, not at all. No. But here's something that's missing.
And before I leave it, what is the most impressive thing that James Webb has found that we didn't know before? That was going to be my follow-up question.
Okay, no, I'll follow up with that. So let me put something in context here, okay? Because we've seen a lot of people. Oh, I don't trust science. What did scientists know? That's just my way of learning. I spent 2 hours on a YouTube video, and now I know what I need to know. It's like, excuse me,
Troy.
Okay. No, so for example, we just returned a sample from an asteroid, okay? It's called OSIRIS-REx. So just stay with me here. You ready? My people, my planetary
It was Japanese, right?
No, this was American, okay?
Nice.
Okay. America.
Nice.
This is America.
Hell yeah, dude.
So we launched a space probe from Earth, a moving platform, to intersect an asteroid Bennu, a moving target, intersect it, do a touch and go on it, kicking up materials. The materials were placed into a capsule. It continued on its way, returned to Earth, deployed the capsule on the rotating Earth so that it would land in the Utah desert. Okay? We did this, and then we retrieved the capsule, brought it back to the lab. That's science, okay? And we do this, and people say, I don't trust science. Scientists say vaccine. No, I don't trust that. And it's like, what is this world we live? Do they have any idea what we do as scientists? How civilization as we know it and love it exists? Because of what scientists and engineers and others who have explored and exploited the laws of physics in the service of our health, our wealth, and our security. So the book is all about how science matters in the civilization that we've come to know and love, and all the stuff that we're fighting about. You take a look from space; it's like, what the hell are you fighting about? It's like, what? Why? What? I got a quote. I'm going to quote my guy from the front of the book. Apollo 14 astronaut, Edgar Mitchell. He went to the moon, okay?
Yes.
He came back, and here's what he said. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of the neck and drag him 250,000 miles out and say, look at that, you son of a bitch.
Is Edgar Mitchell the one who saw UFOs, who said he saw UFOs too?
So I don't remember if he said he saw UFOs, but he had a very strong belief that there were planes of consciousness and awareness of the universe that transcend anything humans typically achieve. And there might be some people who have achieved that, and they are the wise people of the ages, for example. So he in fact he co-founded the Noetic Institute to research just that sort of thing.
And the James Webb question was, because I love the James Webb, what was the most fascinating or thing that it's found that we had no idea about?
Yeah. So for me, I'm a little biased because I professionally care about galaxies more than individual stars or planets. So James Webb looked in the early universe, which is exquisitely tuned to do, by the way. This was not some accidental place where it happened to peak. And it found galaxies, full red-blooded galaxies, happily doing the backstroke in a time of the early universe where none of us imagined matter would have coalesced that early. whole galaxies. So something's got to give, and we got top people working on that right now. Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought up UFOs and also naysayers, because I don't know if you've seen it. I was watching this documentary on Tubi, and it was about UFOs. It's a TMZ documentary.
By the way, there is no end of UFO documentaries.
That's right.
They're everywhere.
Okay, now that you've watched one, well, does Tubi scroll it the way Netflix does? Because you watch one of those on Netflix, they'll line up another 50. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You spend your whole vacation watching UFO documentaries of people who say they saw aliens
This guy was talking about you, dude. He said this was Dr. Gary Nolan from Stanford University, and he said he was.
By the way,
he has a grudge.
Oh, just a moment. The moment you have to say someone's pedigree in order to justify what they said is true means what they said is not convincing enough to be true on its own.
That's right.
Just keep that in mind.
Yep. Sam is very gullible at that, but I never like it.
Okay. No.
By
the way,
I feel I've learned. Yeah.
Okay. Chances are, what they're saying has, the pedigree can matter, but don't use pedigree as your source of whether the thing they're saying is true.
I take it you've heard the quote.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. Go ahead.
Oh,
No,
he said that he thinks Neil deGrasse Tyson is jealous, and that Neil is acting more like an astrologer than an astronomer. Look at the people that are most against UFOs. They're not practicing scientists. They're opinion scientists. When is the last time any of these people were anywhere near a laboratory or near a measurement device? They should be forced to give back their PhDs, is what he said in this doc.
Okay. I don't know. Is that an argument that? Wait. Is that an argument that aliens exist? Is that an argument that a slur is not an argument? Okay, as someone said that, one of the.
I've said that when Travis demeaned me. Yes.
No, is that his best argument for the existence of aliens? Because that's a pretty weak argument.
Yes. I guess that is a good point. He said
the best
if you are
evidence
not
would be
going,
bring
go
forth
ahead.
the evidence. If they don't have it, there's not much to talk about.
Do you notice that it's a lot of people saying, I knew a guy who was involved with the program, but it's never the guy himself.
No,
it's
but
always...
even if it is the person in the program, it's all just people. We for some reason, and I think I know why, are strongly attracted to personal testimony. Okay? Notice you watch commercials. The manufacturer could say, here's the bar chart of why our product is good. And that would give you all the information you need. But no, they don't. They get an actual human being, a fellow human being saying, I tried this product. It was the best thing ever. You should try it too. You say, oh, now I'm going to listen. Okay? So this notion that a fellow human being is testifying the truth of something runs deep within us. And it's in our courts. All right? I might be influenced badly by court dramas on TV, but the battle cry in court, I need a witness, said no scientist ever.
Right.
Okay? This is not, okay? And psychologists know this too. We've known this in second grade, where you play telephone.
Yes.
Okay? This is the first lesson you learn about how bad the human sensory system is. You tell someone, I came home in a blue car, and there was a red this and a five, and by the fifth person, it's all garbled. Okay? Yeah, that's second grade, but it will also happen as adults. Point is that the scientist doesn't seek eyewitnesses for anything. We seek evidence. And an eyewitness testimony does not count as evidence. It counts as, okay, that's interesting, but now take me to the evidence.
Right.
And the guy who testified in Congress, who said, I got, aliens in a locked box. Bring out the aliens, okay? Oh, I can't because I'll lose my job. Okay, fine. Until you bring out the aliens, there's not much I can talk to you about. And they did it in Mexico. They brought out the aliens.
Yes, those were real, though.
Yeah, they did.
Those were
those were at least real. I was worried you weren't going to like those.
It was great. I loved it. The two little 3 foot tall aliens with the one of them looked like it should have had a cigar in its mouth. There's a little oval at its lips.
Yeah, or that was a very generous thing to say, a cigar. I thought something else.
Yes, you would, wouldn't you? Yeah. So I thought, so that's a start. Yes. We didn't do that in our Congress. They did it in the Mexican Congress. So now the next step is you share samples of this, body tissue of these aliens around the world to labs. We did that when we brought rocks back from the moon. We packaged them up, sent them to all the world's best labs so that everyone could participate in the research of what the surface of the moon was about. So, yeah, I had not heard this fellow's comment. I'm just saying he needs a better argument for the existence of aliens than what came out in those few sentences.
We have to wrap up. Not that we don't want to wrap up. We have. It's your guys saying you have other interviews.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
We'll talk to you all day.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him if there was another civilization before us.
On Earth?
Yeah.
I haven't seen evidence of that. It would be intriguing if there were. If that civilization existed like 1 billion years ago, there's a lot of sort of because we have continental drift, the continents sort of subduct and come back up, and so you can completely bury and basically melt a civilization into the magma below Earth's crust and have volcanoes spew back up, completely erasing all of that evidence. But the issue is we've got other evidence of things older than that, like fossils.
Right.
Okay? And we don't see artificial things like, objects that an intelligence would make.
A spoon.
Yeah, anything. A spoon would be right there.
A hat.
Yeah, a spoon would last at least as long as your teeth in a fossilized, or a hat. Yeah, a hat.
Yes, a cloth hat, a little Von Dutch hat, a fossil.
a little beret. Right. So if you found artifacts in the layers of the fossil record, that would be intriguing. Definitely.
Yeah.
The book is called Starry Messenger. I wish you had more time. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson.com, Neil, not Neal, and at Neil Tyson on Twitter. And I loved it. And you're such an interesting guy, and I wish you had more time. Come back again, please.
All right,
we love having you on, man. We love having you on.
Love you guys. And you're going to come in from Westchester, dude? It didn't snow that hard.
I know.
Yesterday.
He stays home.
What a wimp.
He doesn't like it because his heels can't hit the brakes when he's driving in snow.
I have a newborn, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, congratulations!
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, I have a newborn. That's all.
Oh my gosh! Okay, no sleep for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To the extent that you don't know biology, it's a miracle.
Yes. If you saw her and you see him, it is a miracle.
It's a miracle that has occurred 100 billion times in the history of our species.
What a bummer.
100 billion. That's the miracle you're experiencing. No, it is possible to experience something that is rare in your life but is otherwise common.
Yeah.
Right? How many of us have actually seen someone die in front of us? If you're not otherwise a medical professional or in the military, hardly any of us. Yet it
Jim
happens
Norton's audiences.
every couple of seconds in the world. So it's possible for something to be extraordinary yet common.
Yeah.
And birth and death are among them.
All right. Well, look.
Love it.
Starry Messenger, paperback. Grab it. You're a great writer. And love having you on.
Thank you, dude. Always love seeing you guys.
Okay. See you soon, man.
Be right back.
All right, back.